Hello everyone and welcome back to the Spanish Sling, a podcast where we try to bridge the gap between the Spanish and Singaporean companies and encourage economic relations between them. Today we're going to focus on one activity that transcends all cultures and languages, and where Spain is especially strong on: sports. This is why we welcome today to the Spanish Sling Iris Córdoba, General Manager at Global Sports Innovation Center. So thank you so much for being in the Spanish Sling, Iris.
Thank you for inviting me today. I'm very happy.
Yeah. So in the first part of the interview, we're going to focus on Sportstech in Singapore. But myself, and maybe some people who are listening may not be aware of the scope that entails the Sportstech sector. So can you explain a little bit of what is the scope of your sector?
Yes, of course. Very good question. What is Sportstech? For us, Sportstech is more than a sport, no? When we think in a sport, we are thinking in tourism, we are thinking in health, we are thinking in education, in entrepreneurs, in security. It's all the technology that you can help the sport entities or sport event before, during, and after this event. And we divide the sport in different scenarios. For example, fan engagement, all the technology to try to connect or engage with these fans, all the solution in the scenario smart venue, how you can become your stadium in a smart. Wow. It's only when we think in the new stadium, when you launch the new stadium, this stadium is smart? Probably no, you have a new building, but to connect this stadium with a fan, with a sponsor, you need to invest in technology. This is why for us, all the technology around the venue is Sportstech too. Team and player performance, all the technology that the players use, not only for the elite player, also for us, no? The smart t-shirts, the helmet, the shoes, the watch to connect with your phone. All of this technology for us is Sportstech. The security inside the stadium, no? All the technology you can using face recognition, the ticketing, the way where you can pay inside the stadium, buy some merchandise. All of this technology is Sportstech too, no? Exactly. And why we include in Sportstech education too? Because you need to promote the talent in the Sportstech. Because if you want to promote the local Sportstech at the talent or manage the digital transformation in the Sportstech, you must connect with the university too.
Yes, I mean, Sportstech is more than just playing football, basketball. I mean, it's the technology behind the clothes, the security, the innovation. So where is the global? I mean, the GSIC, so the Global Sports Innovation Center. What is the role of your institution in this whole kind of ecosystem?
Let me introduce the GSIC and how the GSIC arrived to Singapore, no? Because we are a non-profit organization promoted by Microsoft Sport Team in the US, a Microsoft Corporation, in 2015 to the aim to promote the digital transformation in the sport industry. And why Madrid, no? And why Spain? Because at the same time Microsoft Corporation signed an agreement with the Real Madrid Football Club. Real Madrid was the first club in Europe to start the digital transformation processes. And this is why the GSIC is in Madrid, but we are a non-profit organization. Sometimes the people ask, why is a non-profit? Because our philosophy is promote the use of the Microsoft technology and try to reduce the gap between startups from sport entities from large companies, no? And with this idea to create a very strong Sportstech ecosystem to solve the problem statement in the sport industry in all these scenarios and engagement in player performance, sport for good, because if for us Sportstech is also sport for good or social impact, no? All the technology to try to reduce the footprint in the sport industry, all the solution that you can help the country to create social impact with your citizens is Sportstech too. In this sense, the GSIC arrived here to Singapore 1 year ago with the idea to create a bridge between Europe with Asia and Latin America too. The idea is help the companies in Spain and the rest of the Europe to enter to Asia using Singapore, you know, and this is like
it's so interesting, and I love how engaged you are in and concerned about creating a social impact, protecting the environment, as well as investing in new technologies and innovation for sports. So you have talked about helping Spanish companies come to Singapore or Asia and understand the ecosystem. So for the Singaporean organizations listening and companies, why do you believe that Spanish sports technologies are an asset here in Asia?
I think the asset is we have advanced about the Sportstech ecosystem in Spain and Europe. You know, the GSIC opened the doors in 2015, but you know, the Barcelona Football Club have your own innovation hub. The Real Madrid with Real Madrid Next have the Sportstech initiative too. La Liga in the rest of the Europe too. No, and in this sense, the expertise that our startup or company has in sport like football is very relevant to connect and to share with the Asia region too, you know. Solution more focused in engagement and smart venue, but I think the real opportunity for the startup who are thinking internationalize their product is use Singapore like the gateway to enter for the rest of the Asia. The language like is English in Singapore are after the pandemic they could manage the best way to engage with big international sporting event, no? Competition like Formula 1, yes. Rugby 7, triathlon, world table tennis. Every month in Singapore they are managed a new big sport event, and this is the very good opportunity for our company to become a real provider of technology of this kind of organization, even for the government. Here the government has the Sport Singapore. Sport Singapore is the public entity who gives support for all the sport industry. They include the National Federation, 63 National Federation has in Singapore, but also all the facilities that you can see in the country can have the support of Microsoft for Sport Singapore, and they invest in different grants to give support for foreign companies who want to create their branch in Singapore. They invest money to help them in create a branch in Singapore, and this is, I think, is very good for the startup. And in this sense, we launched the last week in the GSIC Summit the second edition of the Asia Startup Competition, where 14 sport entities around the world like Real Madrid, La Liga, Cricket Australia, One Championship here in Singapore offer or share with the sport industry their problem statement, and we are looking for the best solution or startup in the world that can solve this problem statement. If this company is from Spain or France and you can fix this problem statement, please follow our social media or our website. You can find 36 different problem statements. Sport Singapore will funding this pilot as this problem statement, and you can work with all of these sport entities that
you have given great ideas and insights for the Spanish technologies, because I attended the event and it was amazing. Congratulations for that. But it's a great opportunity because the Spanish companies have the innovation and the technology, but they may not have the opportunities or the money to kind of push a little bit forward and become even bigger. So with the initiative that you have just promoted, with the grants that the Singapore government give, there are great opportunities here in Singapore, and we encourage all the Spanish companies that are strong in this sports technologies to come to Singapore and explore the ecosystem. So for those companies who now have seen, the opportunities that you have presented, can you give us an overview of the differences between the ecosystem in Spain and in Singapore, so they can understand what they're going to face here?
I think here is started in create this ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
In Spain, is the maturity of the ecosystem is in other situation than here.
Mm-hmm.
Even for Singapore, the country is small, no?
Mm-hmm.
And Spain is big. We have La Liga with a lot of clubs, but we have multiple sports where Spain is referent, like tennis. Tennis. I'm now in basketball.
Well, gymnastics. Yes.
You know. And in this sense, it's more maturity, and they start using the technology before. Here, the government had a very clear plan and vision to invest in sport, because indeed sport is a sport statement. No, when we think in Sportstech, we are thinking in how sport is content and how the technology can help the sport industry in monetize and create new revenue stream for the sport entity.
Yeah.
You know, this is why it's very important to promote the local Sportstech ecosystem to help the local sport entities, and it's a way to reduce the gap and to reduce the cost for these local sport entities. This is why it's a very good opportunity for the companies in the Spain to use the current support and platform that Sport Singapore is working to help them in create the basis of the future in the Sportstech in Singapore.
Totally, yes. And to conclude the interview, and just to follow the last line that you mentioned, so you have talked about these opportunities, but how do you envision the future of the sector it is?
The sector is growing, but I think if you ask me the trends in the sport industry, everyone is talking about the metaverse, the blockchain, the NFT, and I see the very big opportunity to create new digital assets. No, the future of now the key is the digital asset. How the sport entities can manage all the data about their fans, about their players, and create new revenue stream to try to monetize and give more value, and the brands, because when we think in sport, we are thinking also in the brand who are sponsor the sport, in Spain we have a very good example, Santander Bank, who sponsor Formula One, a lot of big brands that invest a lot of money in the sport, how they can use the metaverse in the sport, the augmented reality, the virtual reality, to try to monetize and create more engagement with the fans.
Exactly, so it's about creating engagement and monetizing a great technology that we already have. So thank you very much, Iris, for this interview, and for just providing all the opportunities that they have in Singapore, which I think they're great for the Spanish companies. So we encourage everyone to come to Singapore and explore the opportunities, follow Iris' tips, and just focus on the local needs and the different grants and the activities they have, the Singaporean government and GSIC. So thank you very much, Iris, for coming, and thank you for all your information.
Thank you.
Thank you.